Uh, Good evening, Patrick here. I'm, as you know, I'm the host of. Okay, so I was the host tonight, but unfortunately, the Cinema Squad took over. They made me put the banner up. Says the Cinema Squad is taking over. Um, it's gonna be their show this week. What can I say? We got Dan Upside Dan tonight. We got the mighty Sean Jackson from Lost New Reel tomorrow, and then we got the crazy Jace Burns on Thursday. Cinema Squad Takeover. All right. Um, as you know, we've already interviewed one of the squad members. We already interviewed Antthony from Fever Dreamland Theater. We interviewed him a little while ago, and I'll put that interview down in the description box. But it's been my goal is to interview each member of the squad, and so this week I decided to go. I decided to do Creators Week. As you know, I do a Creators Week every month on Eight Questions with, and I ask everybody to, I do three YouTube creators, and so I thought, well, why not get the Cinema Squad to come on in here and do it? They are fun-loving, skit-loving, super creative movie buffs, movies experts. In Sean's case, because he's a film critic. Um, and why not have some fun? Uh, hey, greetings, North. Hi, Jim. Hi, Echo. Um, so I decided to do that, and so that's what we got this week. We got all three. We got three members of the Cinema Squad. We got two more to go, which will hopefully will be scheduled in the upcoming months. We got Geeky Hijinks still to go, and we have Jonathan Martinez, man of movies. He will be also on the show sometime soon, and so we have that to look forward to. I really am looking forward to tonight's show. Um, Upside Dan is one of the nicest young people I've met. He's very fun. His content is outstanding. Of course, he's a bit of a bastard too, because I went over his channel because so I'm gonna go over and check out Dan. Dan's a really nice guy. Him and I are gonna have so much fun. And then I go over there, and what do I see? I swear, I think it's more like it's not the Cinema Squad, it's the Cinema 824 Squad. That's right. I said it. I said it. I'm not taking it back. All these guys are A24 fanatics. Um, and yeah, his review of Lamb is sitting on his channel with well over 6,000 views for Lamb. What can I say? He must have struck the right chord because everybody came over and supported the interview as they should. Um, as they all should. You should all support the Cinema Squad. They're, like I said, they're one of the most creative collectives in our community, and I enjoy going over there and watching their content. They have a show on their channel, dedicated channel, the Cinema Squad, called Shoot the Shit, and in it they bring in a member of the community, and they talk movies, and it's a lot of fun. They've had a you know they've It's a lot of fun, and they'll talk about anything from they're not really that's one thing I did not realize is I did not realize that while they do like horror, but they are more of a movie collective, not necessarily a horror collective. Like me and Al, me and the Bat, like on the Midnight Hour or whatnot. They do a lot more mainstream films. They've done some mainstream films. In fact, I a lot of the films that they talk about, I find myself already having. I really like the fact, the idea that there's mainstream films being covered out there by some of our community. It's just a lot of fun. I love horror, but you can't live on horror alone. Um, so they like musicals, they like comedies, they like dramas, and they'll talk about them all six of them. And so yeah, and I like the idea of the creativity behind it. They had the first Ducky Awards, which was their takeoff on the Academy Awards, and that's also on their main channel. You can go check that out, that live stream or that recording that's on there, and highly recommended. I was there for a while for that show, and I was laughing my ass off. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so Dan will be here with us at the top of the hour. Gotta go ahead and give some shout outs real quick. Hopefully, our good friend Monty, hopefully his wife is doing well. She took ill; she was not able to. She's in the hospital. Hopefully, she's feeling much better. In fact, our good friend Jim here for Now It's Dark, he's not feeling the best today, but he's still here. I appreciate that, Jim, and we really do hope that you recover quickly from your incident. I can't even imagine what that feels like, and I hope you get a quick recovery. Yeah, that sucks. Um, Big news is that Cheetah and I, um, we staged our own type of takeover. That's right, me and the Cheetah, we took our own type of takeover. Last Thursday night, we were on the Gory B Movies channel in the crowd for their Battle of Vampires. There are 16 vampires going head to head to see who was the best, and our pick was Old Dude Vampire. Uh, and we're Team Old Dude Vampire. We've been punching that all around the community, Old Dude Vampire. And so last Sunday night they had the Battle of the Vampires, and believe it or not, Old Dude Vampire won. I thought he might win a couple of rounds. I thought maybe we could talk him into a couple of rounds to a win. But you're talking about some heavy hitters there. You had people from Near Dark. You had the Lost Boys represented. You had Grandpa Mustard represented. You had Blade, who I thought was going to win the whole damn thing. I represented. I thought maybe. Well, it'll be fun to get Old Dude Vampire at least one win. No, Old Dude Vampire took the whole damn thing. Beat Blade. That's right, Old Dude Vampire. And what's really funny is Old Dude Vampire was just the name that Gory gave the vampire because she didn't know the character's name. So she says, well, we'll just put up Old Dude Vampire on there. And it just took off with the life of its own. And I didn't know this until later on that Old Dude Vampire was like the main villain or the main vampire in the show True Blood. Now, I've never seen True Blood. I have a couple of seasons of the show, but I've never watched it. I don't have the complete series. So I didn't know that. And then she's like, okay, so here's Old Dude Vampire. His name is Martin, and all of a sudden then she starts reading off, like their strengths and weaknesses. And this Old Dude Vampire, he's like a god. He's like 5,000 years old. He's got all these crazy ass powers, and I have no idea. All I know is that Gory B said Old Dude Vampire, and I just thought that was we all thought it was hilarious because we're picking the opponents to fight against each other, and so she put Old Dude Vampire, which was the second funniest name that we put up there after Count Chocula. And so it's just funny. It's just Old Dude Vampire. It's like you can't get more generic than that. But I don't think he would have won if we would have went with his normal name. I don't think he would have won. I think everybody would have voted for Blade. But there we go. Put Old Dude Vampire on there. You can catch that on Gory B's on her channel. It's hilarious. The show's hilarious. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Echo's recommending some. Look, he already suffered a ruptured eardrum. Echo. He doesn't need to suffer another one or eyes. All right, so put your hands together and join me as we welcome in our good friend Dan from the Cinema Squad, taking over.
Hi, everybody.
Ta-da!
Hi, everybody. Hi, Patrick.
What's going on, Dan?
Nothing much. I'm happy to be on.
You know what? You guys just take it over my shit. I just don't get it. I'm like, okay, I like the Cinema Squad. And all of a sudden, then Sean sending me this mail saying I got pictures of the cheetah in compromising positions, hanging out with some dogs. I got Jay sitting there going like, I got something for you. And then I go to your channel, I go over your channel, and what do I see? I see Lamb with over 6,000 views. I'm going like, you know what? Ain't that? It's just like that. They're taking over. They're throwing that A24 shit down on me. Man, I'm telling you, I can't escape that. Hi, Mr. Dan Whore. Hi, Night Fright. So yeah, man. That was fun. That was fun. I'm gonna go back and watch that all the way through. Um, not to say that we sort of know a little bit about A24. When we just got done, we just got done covering X last Sunday.
Yeah, I
Uh,
heard. Yeah, I heard that. I didn't watch it, but yeah, I'll have to watch it. I enjoyed X.
that I have to admit, that was probably the funniest first 15 minutes I've ever done on Eight Questions with,
Oh,
or on the Midnight Society. It's like the funniest first 15 minutes, because Ben from Cadaver Club was our guest for that, and so we're talking, and he's being attacked by a fly,
oh,
and oh, yeah, it's straight up kaiju type battles.
oh, wow.
So I'm glad you're here, and because I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time,
Yep.
and I'm glad that you agreed to come onto the show. And so I guess the first question I need to probably ask you is, how's your day?
It's been pretty good. Yeah, nothing exciting, too exciting. Yeah, no, I picked up some books just now, just a little bit ago. I'm gonna try to get into reading more. I don't read that much, but yeah,
Reading.
novels.
Yeah. Are you more of a novel reader, or are you like a history buff? I mean, like reading
Oh,
history books?
I like fiction, and I like Stephen King, and I loved Harry Potter. I mean, I still love Harry Potter, but
Who doesn't,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, I, yeah, that's funny. I got the it's sitting right here, as a matter of fact. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Oh yeah, yeah, that one's a good one.
Um, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, reading. So, Stephen King, have you read any of his books yet, or will
Yeah.
this be?
No, so I read or I listened to. So it's either read or listened to. I've listened to some. I love it. I love the movies. I love the book. The Shining and Doctor Sleep I've read, and Pet Cemetery and Gerald's Game.
Now, in all honesty, you listen to The Shining, or you read The Shining, right?
Yes, yeah, I think I listened to The Shining. Yeah.
Now, that being said, have you seen the movie since you've done that?
Yes, and I don't like it as much.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
It changes the movie fundamentally. It really does.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I truly don't understand that. It's like the most important character in a sense in the book, and then in the movie they say, well, we're just going to kill him off. And it's like, yeah, but that's the heart of the movie. It's the heart of the book.
Yeah.
It isn't Jack or the little boy. It's the caretaker. And yeah, I just could never understand that choice they made. And well, now you know why Stephen King, for pretty much until like the last couple of years or so, has always given that movie version the finger.
Yes, I know. And I watched the miniseries, and I actually liked the miniseries.
Yes, he did too.
It's more faithful. Yeah.
I think it's an outstanding book. It's one of his best for sure.
Yeah. And then I really love Doctor Sleep, and I love the movie. So.
Yeah, isn't that something? And I guess the director of Doctor Sleep was much more faithful to the book.
Yeah.
And that really is important. It really is. You can't really change you really can't change it, especially with a writer like Stephen King. You really can't change it too much. You got to trust the words.
Yeah.
Does it frustrate you as a movie aficionado, or a critic, or when you do see that, when you go inside a film to sit down and watch it, does it really bother you when you see there that something that's not in the book, not in the story, And does that really just get you going? Like,
It it depends because there are some times where I'm like, I like what they did. Maybe not better, but I was like, okay, I still liked what they did. And but yeah, sometimes it does. And I like it. I love the movies it still, but I actually want like a faithful adaptation, like 100%. Well, maybe 99.9% faithful. Take out the 12-year-olds in the sewers doing stuff, but
right? Yeah, that was people have speculated when he wrote that, if he was under the, because he had a really bad spot where
yeah,
he was under the influence. Maybe he wouldn't have wrote. I'm sure today he would not have written that
yeah,
today.
yeah,
Um, I tell you the one movie that benefited from a director being assertive and doing something his own way, and that is The Mist.
yeah. So I just watched The Mist for the first time the other night, and yeah, that was really good. And yeah, I liked because I haven't read the book, but I know the ending of the book too, and I liked how, for the most part, I liked how they did it in the movie. I thought it was a little quick, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, because there's one thing that Stephen King, and they mentioned it is a running joke, but it is sort of true. Um, is that he's a great writer, but he's not the strongest ender.
Oh yeah,
He doesn't know how to end a lot of his stories. I think it's because he's in love with the stories and the characters. And
yeah,
he doesn't necessarily know how to put them down.
yeah. That could be it. Yeah,
Um, sort of like a method writer, so to speak, huh?
yeah, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Uh, yes.
I'm gonna
I think I'm gonna work my way through his bibliography and then also watch the adaptations of his stuff.
uh, have you read The Stand yet?
No, I've not read The Stand yet, and I've not watched the show either, or whatever.
Man, the Stand is my favorite book of his. And get the writer's edition of it.
Oh,
There's two
okay.
editions. There's the mass market edition, which is like 800 pages, and then there's his version, which is like 1100. Um, get the his version. It's worth
Okay.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, well, Stephen King movies, they have provided a lot of talk for the community.
They
Um,
have.
I mean, you obviously you're a Stephen King fan. Are you new to Stephen King, or have
No,
you watched a lot of his movies?
I've watched a lot of him. I've been a fan of him, for a while. Um, but yeah, no. So I'm not new, but I'm new to kind of. I'm going to start his books over from the beginning of like his release date of them. And even probably reread them. So the first book would be Carrie.
Right. Yeah. You make sure you get some breaks in between the two of them. Like if you read one after you finish it, let's say you read Carrie, give yourself a week or so before you start the new one. And the only reason I say that, if you just read, put it down, pick up the next one, and go like that. After a while, the words will blend. They'll start to blur together because
Yeah,
this writing style is just about in every book. I mean, and if you're not, that way you don't just like all you see is just a one continuous blur.
yeah, definitely.
Um, speaking of Stephen King, he also did a collaboration with a writer named Peter Staub.
Yes, I have that on my list as well. Like I researched like all his stuff, even like collaborations. So I really want to read like everything. But yeah.
Um, I mentioned it because Peter Straub died today.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, he passed away today.
Oh
Let's see. Jim is saying here when he was a kid, he read so many Stephen King's books that were his dad's. Yeah, I got into King early too. The first book I ever read of Stephen King before I knew anything about who he was or anything, I think I got it because the book was so big. Because I was like, and that was The Stand.
yeah,
I did. I didn't. I mean, um, that's always been my favorite book of his. And then I would say The Long Walk would be there. And then my favorite short story that he did two novelists that I really enjoyed. He did The Running Man. Oh my gosh. Have you seen Running Man, the movie?
I have not. No,
You never seen Running Man, the movie? Oh,
no.
thank God. Yeah, you'll be spared because the Running Man, when you read The Running Man and the novella, when you try to watch the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, you won't make it through. I
Oh,
guarantee you. I
yeah.
guarantee you. You'll be sitting there going like, "What the hell?" Yeah, and the Long Walk, and then there's one he did called Battlefield, Battleground, which
Yeah.
is a short story. Have you seen that one?
No, I've not seen it.
Oh my gosh,
I've-
Battleground's an awesome story. It's like one of his short stories he did. I think he did that in. I want to say he did that in maybe Dance Macabre or Nightmares and Dreamscapes.
Oh, okay.
Or he did it in Night Shift. One of those two. It's only like an 8 or 10 page story, but man, it's so cool. the the ending is just like one of those. It's one of his best.
Oh, nice.
So obviously then let's just start here. So where were you born and raised at?
Buffalo, New York, and I'm still here. So yeah, Buffalo, New York, my whole life, pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Um, how do you like Buffalo?
And for the most part, I like it. I don't love winter and I don't love snow, so there's a lot of that in the winter. Um, but I just haven't. I like it the other times of the years and being close to everything I know and everyone I know.
Do you get the do you cross over the Niagara Falls? Do you cross over to Canada quite a bit?
Um, yes. Well, I mean, sometimes, yeah. I mean, I haven't in years because of COVID, but we can cross now. But for a while now, we couldn't. We couldn't cross at all. So, but yes, before COVID, I would go, every once in a while, and yeah, go over there, go
So,
to Preston Hill. Yeah,
so you can cross now or you can't?
you can. Yes, you need
Okay,
some app or something, but yeah, you can.
okay. Um, so what was it like growing up in your house? Were your parents creative people? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes.
Um,
So I have 7 brothers and 2 sisters.
7 brothers?
Yeah, 2 sisters. Uh,
Damn,
yeah,
Brady Bunch.
I'm adopted, and so are a lot of them, but 3 of them are biological, but everyone else is adopted.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a nice home growing up. I have a really close knit family. Yeah, we all love each other. We all support each other. It was a really good, a fun childhood.
What was your because obviously you love the arts. So when was your first foray into the arts? What was the first thing that you remember doing that was creative?
So I always used to, when I was young, go I had a camera, and me and my siblings would tape, skits, uh, kind of what you see on the Cinema Squad channel, skits, music videos. We loved Disney Channel, so like High School Musical, Hannah Montana, the little, stuff of our age. You probably don't even know, but yeah, we would do skits of that. We would play the audio of the show and like us, but it would be us talking. We would do a bunch of that stuff, and like with our neighbors, we would do little skits and almost movies, almost.
Now I have to stop you right now and let you know. Think about this. You mentioned Hannah Montana, some of the young Disney shows. Um, you remember I do own a cheetah, and that's not to say that I have not watched. I've been known to watch an occasional Cheetah Girl episode now and then.
Yeah, the Cheetah Girls were big. We didn't do any of that, but we did watch them. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so you like? Were you a big Disney fan growing up, or did you just like poking fun at them, or are you just a big Disney fan?
No, we were a big Disney fan. Yeah, we all were. And we still are. We used to go to Disney a lot, and yeah, we love Disney. Not as
Mr. Dan, Mr. Dan saying that he loved his first collection of short stories. Me too. That would have been Night Shift, I believe it was.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember
a
next. Yeah,
lot of movies came from Night Shift.
yeah. And I also got Stand by Me. The body. So his novella that Stand by Me is based on.
Um,
That's, yeah.
yeah, it's funny. I was catching an interview. That's funny you mentioned it because I just caught an interview a little bit earlier today over on Michael Rosenbaum's show, Inside of You, and he was interviewing Will Wheaton. And
Oh.
yeah, and yeah, he had a. I guess he didn't have such a happy childhood, uh, from what I heard. Um, so what was your favorite? What was your favorite Disney? What was your favorite Disney growing up? I mean, was there any? Was there any? Did you watch? Were you able to watch cartoons when you were younger, or were you big? Were you big into animation?
Yeah, definitely. I was more big in animation back then than I am now, and I like it still. I just don't watch it as often. Uh, but yeah, so we loved Disney movies. So we loved all the classics: Snow White, Aladdin. Aladdin's like one of my favorites, and I love the live action one as well. The Lion King. We loved all of the classics, and that was basically what we watched. And then like a little bit older, but Shrek. We loved DreamWorks, the Shrek movies.
Or
And yes, so yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff, and Disney Channel cartoons, Nickelodeon cartoons. Yeah,
um, like I love Shrek too. My wife did too. We love Shrek.
yeah,
I gotta tell you what Shrek did though for me though. Shrek just absolutely destroyed me when it comes down to watching Antonio Banderas.
yeah, yeah. It's hard, and he's
Is
in the
it,
new
is it hard?
yeah, he's in the new Uncharted movie, and
Uh-huh.
I just keep picturing Puss in Boots. But yeah,
Yes, I'm here too. Every time it's like I love Antonio Banderas. Like his movies are awesome. Zorro, 13th Warrior, just amazing. And then I watched him in Shrek, and all of a sudden, every time especially in Shrek 2, where he's running, and
yeah,
oh my God, and he's running and he stops. He's trying to buy them time. And he turns around and he stops and look. He puts it. He's stopping the knights, and he's sitting there with his eyes all big out like this, and I'm just like. And then it just made me laugh because I'm like, it's just like a damn cat.
yeah,
And the whole theater just absolutely roared when that was down there in that scene. But after that, every time I hear him speak in a movie, I just keep hearing Puss in Boots.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Shrek 2 is like my favorite, one of my favorite animated movies. I love Shrek 2.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Now, were animated films, Antthony saying Banderas was an adorable kitty, but still badass. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
you knows what color he was, right? He was orange and white. I'm just leaving that out there. That's all I'm doing, just leaving it out there. If you guys can connect the cheetah with Antonio Banderas, who am I to argue? Hey Gizmo, how are you?
Hey, Gizmo. Hey, Anthony.
Um, so animation was when growing up, that was what you watched. Were your parents did your parents let you watch anything when you were younger, or did they sort of control what you watch?
They didn't let me watch anything. I mean, they stopped caring kind of a little bit, down, younger than 13, I would say. Because PG-13 is supposed to be 13, but it wasn't. We would watch that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I didn't even get into horror, not just because of them. I didn't get into horror until like high schoolish area. That's when I was really getting into horror. And now I love it. It's like my favorite genre.
Horror is your favorite genre? Which is sort of funny because I just went ahead I went ahead and mentioned that the Cinema Squad, you guys aren't really you guys cover everything. You guys are not just a horror collective. You will cover anything and everything.
Yes, because yeah, a lot of us love superhero stuff, the comic book stuff. We love comedy. We love it all, and Sean, John, and I especially love like Oscar baity movies. And starting my YouTube channel helped me with that. Like I got more into award-winning films.
What was the first live action movie that you did see that you remember that made an impression on you?
Ooh, so I mean, this is probably not the first, but it's one I remember is Scream, the first Scream. That's one of my first horror movies, and that got me into the horror genre, and I just loved it. I just loved the surprise of everything and the twist, and yeah, so Scream, I would say. But there was stuff earlier, but I can't even think about it right now.
So Scream was the first movie that really made an impression upon you.
Yeah, Scream. Yeah, Scream's one of my favorites. I think movies in general.
So after you started, after you decided to get into horror, so like, what was some of the movies that you watched when you were, besides Scream? What were some of the movies that you got into? And were your other friends into horror too? Were they, or the,
Yeah. so before I got into horror, I had a really good high school friend, and he loved horror, everything horror. He loved everything horror. And so he would always talk to me about it, and I never was into it yet. But then I got into it, and him and I got to talk about it, and that was him. And then yeah, a lot of my other friends now are into horror, and then they always loved horror, and
It,
so yes,
isn't it funny? When you if you think about it, isn't it funny that pretty much what every genre people get into is generally like horror or like fanboy stuff, like horror films, or for me it was like part of it was kaiju films for me, watching Godzilla. Isn't it funny that that's pretty much everybody's first experience to film? I mean, I haven't really met anybody yet to sit there and say, well, my first film that really moved me, that I was into, as a 12-year-old, was Gone with the Wind.
yeah,
You don't really ever see that. Most of the time you talk to people, if they're honest, they'll sit there and say, well, the first movie I remember was horror film. Is
yeah.
that because do you feel like horror film is the most accessible to everybody?
Oh, I don't know, because a lot of people don't like it still because they're just too scared. And I'm actually very scared, so it's surprising. Like I get scared to watch horror movies and stuff. And I jump.
That explains a lot. It explains why you watch A24 and you don't watch IFC Midnight.
I d- I know. I do watch IUC Midnight though sometimes, but
Some
but yeah. Um, no, I love A24 though. I mean, but I know you don't.
No, I know. Yeah, that's right. Don't I'm gonna have to remember that, because next time I do an A, but no, I like them too. I mean, it's sort of like a running joke, but we watched X, and I liked it. I liked X. I thought it was fine. I thought it was a fun movie. A lot of positives to it. Did I think it was the best horror film of the year? No, no. Um, we watched Saint Maud. Did you see Saint Maud yet?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Not a horror film though.
yeah, it wasn't that. Yeah.
No. Would you consider a movie? What do you consider a horror?
We
Define your version of horror. What is horror to you?
Yeah, so it's funny. We just had this. This was our question of the day on the most recent Shooting the Shit episode. Uh,
Really, I
yeah,
have not seen that.
yeah, no, yeah, no. So genuinely, I do consider, if it's on IMDb and it says horror, I'm gonna tell people. Oh, if they ask, "Oh, is that a horror?" I'm gonna look on IMDb. If it says horror, I'm gonna say yes. But more specifically, I do have like some things are not that scary. Saint Maud was more of a psychological thriller, maybe it's slow burn kind of thing. A lot of A24s are, but
Yeah.
um, so there's different. People have different opinions. On different types of what's considered horror. I think that uneasy tension, which Jay said he said, is a really good signifier of horror. It's just when you can sit there and like wonder what's going to happen next, and it may make you jump. It might make you scared. I think that that's a really good signifier that this is a horror you're watching.
I think it's really cool that because you watched a ton of movies. You're part of the Cinema Squad collective. Even though you're really young, you're still a battle-hardened veteran. I mean, you watched a lot of horror films. I do think it's really cool that you're still able to get scared. I like that too. I like it when a movie gets into my head, and gets in there and just curls up. Um, I think those movies, because I've seen a little bit more than you, maybe perhaps, but I still like the ability that I still get, a movie still can cause emotion in me.
Yeah.
What are some of the movies that have scared you the most? And do you consider in your eyes, do you consider a movie that is disturbing? Do you consider that the same thing as a movie that is scary, or is it one and the same, or is it separate to you?
It could be one and the same. It's kind of one and the same for me. I think mostly, because like something that just stays with you and is under your skin. But it can be different, because disturbing could be it's disturbing can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. What I find disturbing might not be what you find disturbing. But
Right.
yeah, I don't know. So Lake Mungo, have you seen Lake Mungo? It's
No,
a
I'm not. No, I haven't seen Mongo.
Lake Mungo. So it's a found footage film, and it seems real. So that scares me. So it's not real, but it's a mockumentary, and it looks and sounds and seems real, and
Right.
that scares me. Um, whew, like that stuck with me for days after watching it. And so Lake Mungo, I would say definitely. Lake Mungo is like the Babadook. The Babadook actually got me. It
Uh,
doesn't have many scares, but it just stuck with me. And
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I heard, let's see, John's mentioning here, your fellow squatties are here. John says he loves getting scared. It's such a fun feeling to be innocently scared from a movie. I agree.
yeah,
Gizmo mentions horror and comedies are the only genres that are meant to hit you on a surface level that you as a human being react on in a way.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was
um,
gonna say that's another reason I think people get into horror, and that's why you hear horror is their first thing they really got into, and because you remember it, it scares you, it evokes an emotion in you more than
sure.
yeah,
See, John mentions disturbing would be one of the same. Most times, something disturbing will keep me up at night compared to something scary. Yes. Like when I watched the first Jeepers Creepers, that ending of the first Jeepers Creepers it's disturbing that it
yeah,
always stayed with me.
yeah,
It's like
that's
it's such a weird, twisted ending.
yeah.
Um,
Like I just recently saw The Invitation. It's not a great movie, but I did review it on my channel. It's my first movie react, so go check it out. But no, The Invitation. It's a new movie. And I jumped a few times, but it doesn't like John said. It doesn't scare. It's scary. It doesn't disturb you. It doesn't keep you up at night. Like I
no,
did jump though, but it wasn't. It was whatever.
yeah, but I think part of that is, quite honestly, I think part of that is because I'm one of those guys that I really don't think that PG-13 does it for me as far as scares go.
Yeah,
That's part of it. Like when I see a movie, a horror movie, and I see PG-13, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a few jump scares. It's not gonna be very much gore. The language is gonna be tamed way down, so there's not that much tension. Not to say that PG-13 isn't effective because we both know that it is extremely so.
yeah,
Anybody who's a horror fan and watched The Sixth Sense will tell you that.
yeah.
But that's few and far between.
And
Um,
Insidious is PG-13, and I thought that was really scary.
was Insidious PG-13?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Um, yeah, yeah, that was now that was a weird. That's speaking of that. Who are some of the actors that when you watch a horror film, uh, who are some of the actors that you like watching that will evoke emotion for you? Are there actors when you see a certain star or maybe even a director attached to it? Do you get excited for it? Do you go like, okay, I want to mark this down on the calendar?
So, James Wan. So anything he does. Mike Flanagan. Um, and for stars, I Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson because they play the Warrens in the Conjuring series. I love that man. And Vera Farmiga was also in um, The Orphan, and Patrick Wilson was also in the Insidious movies, some of them. So they all get me excited for horror, and I know that it's going to be a horror movie usually if they're in it. Yeah, so that's what I would say.
Uh, yeah, yeah, I'm sort of like that too, Jonathan. I like, that's part of fun. That's part of the fun of horror films too. It's a sense of discovery. Um, when you watch a horror film, now that you do reviews and you put a lot of thought and skill into it. I mean, do you have to watch them? Do you watch movies like every movie you watch? Do you watch at least twice? And how do you do it? In what order do you watch a movie? Do you watch a movie first as a fan, or do you watch a movie such as a critic first?
So it's hard because I'm not totally on that board, but I'm more like, oh, it was entertaining, it was fun. So I'm a critic, but I'm like less strict on like some of the stuff. Sometimes I'll take that all into account. So usually I just watch once for unless I like love the movie. I wish I had more time to to watch as a fan and then as a critic. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just watch it and then I write how I felt about it afterwards and try to write in the like the how the cinematography was, how the score was, and all that stuff.
Um, we have a film director in the house here. Our good friend Video Man Gizmo. If you haven't connected with his channel, you guys should need to do this. He's made several movies, including one movie that I have called Christmas Blood. And he's mentioning that he won 2 festivals in 2016 with Husset. That's the scariest movie that year. But it was screened at possibly 30 festivals, so we should have won some. So that's always good. Yeah, I mean, do when you mentioned the movie database earlier. How do you ever use outside systems to influence what you watch and how you watch it, or are you just like you just watch it just here I am, I'm Dan, I'm gonna watch this movie. I don't want like if I told you that X is the best movie of the year, I think you should watch it. Do you give any credence to friends or anybody telling you, how you should feel about a movie, or do you just like, okay, that's cool, and then you do take it and then you just watch it on your own, or do you feel like sometimes you're subtly influenced by what people tell you?
I think sometimes subtly influenced or obviously influenced by people. What people tell me. For the most part, though, it's so if I already want to see a movie and everyone tells me it's bad, it's horrible, I probably am still gonna see the movie, unless it has horrible, like absolutely horrid scores and stuff, and everyone's telling me like it's horrible, like don't even watch it. But for the most part, I'll be curious about it. Oh, it can't be that bad, and then I watch it. But like if I don't, and then if I don't want to see a movie, but everyone's telling me it's good, I will sometimes, I'll go check that out because everyone's telling me it's good. So I try not to let it sway me too much, but sometimes it definitely does, and it puts preconceived notions in my mind, and expectations about what to expect, and then I might be let down by those expectations, or they might meet or exceed the expectations.
Um, so going back to when you were younger, I mean, I skipped over this but we'll go back to it. So when you were watching movies as a youngster and you got into Scream and whatnot, um, when did you start? When did you feel like you wanted to share your opinion with folks? As far as did you write your own reviews? Did you keep journals of what you watched and what how did you get your start to becoming a critic?
Yeah, so I have written reviews. And I'm looking at Gizmo's comment, and I'm like, but no, yeah. So I used to write reviews just like on like my Facebook or Instagram a few years before I started. A few years before I started the YouTube channel, and I would just post them and put my rating on there and hope people look at them. And they'd be long, so I'd be happy if anyone looks at them. And a few people really liked them, and they told me that they've watched them or read them. And yeah, and then I've always collected my stubs. It's not the same thing, but I collected my ticket stubs, so I just remember every movie. And you could put notes in that ticket stub diary next to the stub, what you thought of it or whatever you want to write. So I did little stuff like that.
Do you still have all your stubs?
Yeah, and I still collect them. Yeah.
Wow. How many do you have?
Ooh, I don't even know, but recently though, the past few years, it's a lot of digital stuff, so I don't really get them anymore. But if I do get them, I still do collect
Let's see. Oh, uh, that's funny. These guys are cracking me up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of people did that too. I used to collect. When me and my wife went to the show, I used to collect all. We used to collect all the stubs there. Hey, Hobbs.
I
Glad you're here. I used to collect some of the tickets when we went to the shows like that. That's. I wish I would have done that younger. Oh my gosh, I just shudder to think about how big it would have been if I would have had all the stubs of the movies I went to when I was younger.
Yeah,
Just
I wish someone
crazy.
started my letterbox younger for me, so I literally knew every movie that I've ever watched.
Yeah, Letterbox is a really yeah. So I asked you earlier about that about the influence, about being influenced.
Yeah,
Like I don't give any credence to Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb.
yeah,
You just can't. You just can't. Letterbox is probably a little bit better because you can go there and you can actually read people's reviews.
yeah,
There's some good reviews on IMDb too, but the site has been so warped out by people.
yep,
That it's really hard to take it seriously, which I don't.
yeah, I
Uh,
know.
and same thing with Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, it's nice to see a movie, when they say certified fresh, but it's just an opinion. It's just like what they think is fresh. And a lot of times, those movies that they do, you find yourself just like, yeah, not so much. Um, uh, so the first time you actually put out a review for somebody else, what was it for? Were you in high school with this? Did you go to college to become a writer?
So what I wanted to do is actually be a screenwriter for TV shows mostly, but movies as well.
Okay.
And I really wanted to try it all. I would direct, I would mind producing, I wouldn't mind acting even, but probably not good at it. But I wanted to try it all in the film industry, but then I was like, I don't know. I just got into reviewing movies, and I was like, I really like this part as well. And I still get to make skits, with the Cinema Squad or by myself on my channel. And so, yeah, I was in high school and I remember writing The Lion King, the remake, the live action remake, Lion King review and putting that on Facebook. That was one of my early ones. And probably a few before that, though, because that was in high school.
Now, were you ready for when you started writing your reviews and started sharing it? Were you ready for people to agree with you, and but more importantly, maybe disagree with you? And do you remember the first time that it happened to you, where someone disagreed with one of your with one of your reviews?
Yeah. So it hasn't happened before you. It didn't happen before YouTube. I just don't think people cared enough, to comment or anything. But yeah, with YouTube, and it's barely happened with YouTube. I'm happy to say. I know as I get bigger, it'll happen more, and just trolls in general will just be mean. And I take it to heart sometimes, but I have to try to get better, tougher skin, But yeah, it'll be hard though. I know I've gotten troll comments a few times, but I haven't really had much. I've been lucky.
Do you feel like when you do get a comment like that, do like is the justification like do you feel like, okay, like they hated my review and they hated it so much they felt like they needed to leave a comment? So obviously they felt that my opinion was important enough to comment on, you know?
Yeah,
So I mean, did that make you feel like, okay, I can actually do this? I can actually, become a critic, and I can do this, and I can do this fairly and honestly.
yes. I think that definitely does help thinking. I'm trying to think of the positives, and also trying to think about all the good reviews you got on top of that. So, you a good comments you got, so that always helps. But sometimes there's just like one comment, and it doesn't matter if there's 50 good comments. It's just the one comment was bad.
Yeah, isn't that something else? Isn't that something else?
Yeah.
Holy cow, the Cinema Squad truly is taking over. Now we have Jonathan Man of Movies in here. We have Anthony Dreamland Theater, and now we have Jace,
Hey,
Berta Rokar. Holy crow, it's a takeover. I'm telling you. I think we're missing two. We're missing Sean,
Sean.
uh, and
Yeah.
then we're missing Geeky Hijinks.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
Joe's probably sleeping because it's 5 hours ahead of this. And
right, right. Let's see. Man of Johnson's going, Jesus Christ, who's this Berger guy? Oh boy, and so it begins. I love it. I love it. Now you've been open and honest about this. And I just wanted to see if this has any effect into it. You've been really open and honest with some of your like sometimes you go up and down with emotions. Sometimes some days are good, some days aren't so good. Um, is part of that do you feel like that's part of it is just strictly because of social media, or is it part of it because of the movies? Maybe someone has hit you in the wrong spot at the wrong time. How do how when someone says something particularly not so nice, how do you recover? How do you take care of yourself mentally, to protect yourself?
You gotta just step away and um, tell yourself, you're not that way. Like, when John Man of Movies calls me an ugly jerk, I just had to step back and say he didn't mean that, or I'm not an ugly jerk. No, I'm joking. John doesn't say that.
Jonathan's one of the nicest guys, isn't he? You guys, your whole collective. I mean, your whole damn collective is so nice.
Yeah, no, we're all good and we're all like eclectic. We're all like different, but we all work together so well. Yeah. But no, just take a step back and breathe. Tell myself that's not true, or I don't care if it's true or not. You know, and have good friends like the Cinema Squad and all of you guys. It's really nice to have this community.
Yeah. What does the word community mean to you? What does it mean to you? The word community.
Ah, just like a collective of people that, well, either they're part of the same kind of thing, and even if they don't talk, they're still part of the community. But more specific than that, like, we have so many people that are so supportive of all of us, and we could not comment on their videos for a few times, or we could never comment, but we still respect each other, and we still support each other, and we still come to each other's rescue almost, when it matters. So I think we all have something similar to talk about within film.
Yeah, that's a really good take on that. Um, so how old were you when you started your YouTube channel? I mean, how old were you? And tell us a little bit about your channel and what's it a little bit about. How did you decide what to do on your channel?
Yeah, so I was 27 when I started, so two years ago. My 2-year anniversary is coming up. If it's not already, I have to look when it's coming up, but it's coming up. Because I remember I started kind of in the Halloween season, or a little before the Halloween season. But yeah, I was 27, and it was COVID, and I don't know why. I was thinking about it for a while, and I wish one of my biggest, not regrets, but I wish that I started this YouTube channel like 10, 20 years, not 20.
Yeah.
I was 9, but 10 years ago. um, but I wish that I started this YouTube channel so much sooner, and I would hope that I would still have met all of you guys and been friends with all of you guys. But it's just I loved doing it, and that was one of the things. It's kind of funny because it's like one of the things that kept my emotions up, happy. But then when I stopped doing it, my emotions were down, but I didn't want to do the thing that was making me happy. It was almost like a weird double-edged sword. And I just didn't feel like it. But then, I got back into it now, and I'm really loving it again. And I mean, I've pretty much been in the Cinema Squad, the whole time anyway. So I was still doing stuff, with them. And so, yeah, so that's how I started. I started just doing YouTube stuff, just random movies. I started with the Batman Begins, I believe. Batman 1989. I started kind of with all the Batman movies, really. And I don't even know why. I like Batman. I don't love him as much as everyone does. But I just wanted to start, so I was like, okay, I just watched Batman Begins or Batman 1989. Let me just do a review on it. And my PlayStation name was the Upside Dan because I love Stranger Things. And I was like, okay, I'll name myself the Upside Dan. And
Okay.
yeah,
I was going to ask you where you got your name from. The upside down. What does it mean?
yeah,
So Stranger Things. Okay.
Stranger Things, the Upside Down, yeah. And then yeah, I don't know why I didn't start it sooner, and I don't know what made me want to start it then, but I'm glad I did.
So I guess that would probably lead into the fact how did you meet? How did you and the Cinema Squad first meet?
So Sean Chandler, he's a bigger channel, but Sean Chandler's he's a bigger reviewer. He does a lot of comic book stuff. He's pretty awesome. I like him a lot, and he's one of my favorite people, not just because of what he is, but he introduced Sean and I Lost in the Reel. So I'm so thankful for that, and I do still watch him. I still like him, but he did a class. He did like a little learning, teaching thing, teaching people how to start a YouTube channel. So Sean and I were in it, and the first Christmas that thing, I want to say 2 years ago then. Um, I was like, let's all wish Sean Chandler a happy. Let's all make a video wishing him a happy Merry Christmas. And so I reached out to everyone in the class, which is unlike me because I'm shy. I'm actually pretty shy. I don't know if anyone notices that, but I'm
You shy?
yeah,
Oh no, really?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're doing great here.
No, I know it's easier one on one. It's really easy one on one, and then like with people that I really know, like the cinema squad. And so we all wished him a Merry Christmas, but I went to everyone in the group individually to ask them to do videos. Some of them did, Sean did, and then that's how Sean and I started our friendship. And Sean had met John, I believe, and John and Sean had this idea to start a squad like this, a group like this. And John and I had met because I was like, John, I was like, man, in movies, I'm guessing you're gonna like. I see you like Stranger Things, so you're probably gonna like my channel name. And then the three of us met, and Sean was always wanting me in the group. And then we started the group, and Joe came in at some point, but he was one of the originals. And then we had Brad from Let's Be Real Brad, and that didn't totally work out. No hard feelings. We love Brad. And then we got Jace and Antthony. So that's basically how we all came together.
Sort of like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, you guys really work together. I mean, now you guys obviously you must talk outside of YouTube. I mean, you must talk on the phone outside or face to face. I mean, how close are you guys together as far as geography goes? I know that Joe's in England, but the rest of you, how close are you together?
So Antthony is in New York City, and I'm in Buffalo, so we're about 6 to 7 hours away. And Jace is kind of near Chicago, so he's several hours away from me. And John's in Florida, near Disney. He gets to go to Disney and Universal all the time, and I'm jealous. But anyway, yeah. So, and then Sean's all the way in California, so Sean's actually across the United States from us.
Yeah, you guys really have just taken off. I mean, the fact that you guys all like, you guys are all eclectic. Like you said, like you guys can sit down and do, you guys can sit there and talk about musicals. You could talk about,
Yeah.
and I think that's just, that's really unique. It's especially in a horror community type of setting. Because I think it seems like you have, it does seem like you have one foot firmly on that ground, but the other foot it's everywhere.
Yeah, we love everything. We want to talk about everything and anything. Yeah, and yeah, we do. To answer the question, we do talk a lot. We talk like every day, basically, outside of honest chat, either in messaging on a chat or we FaceTime sometimes. So we talk on the phone, and we're actually meeting. Jace, John, Sean, and I are meeting face to face in a couple weeks.
That'd be great.
In 2 weeks, we'll be in Orlando, Florida. Yeah.
That must be very exciting.
Yeah.
Now, will this be the first time you ever met anybody online like this?
Yes. This will be the first time.
Oh my gosh, you'll love it.
Yeah.
You guys will be like brothers.
Yeah, we already are. We feel.
Let's talk a little bit about a couple of other subjects. I want to get your thoughts on it too. So what does the term woke mean to you? And do you feel like it's as overdue? Do you think it's overdue that Hollywood has actually decided to represent people people who are from the LGBTQ
LGBTQ,
that Native Americans, African Americans. Do you feel like you're catching the beginning of a renaissance in film by seeing the different cultures and lifestyles being shared in front of us? And what does the term woke mean to you? And
yes,
how do you think it's what?
John said careful, Dan. But yeah, we're because we talk about this, a lot in the chat. But So for me, the the literal definition of woke, I don't love the word, first of all, because I don't see it as a negative for the most part. Um, because yes, I do love the Renaissance. I do love the representation of everyone in different film, and I don't think I know I do think that it's important to the people. So I liked Miss Marvel, and I'm not even part of the the Muslim in the Pakistani community, but I was so happy for that community to have that representation in a Marvel show or in anything. That's really why I enjoyed that show. And now we have She-Hulk, and sometimes it gets heavy-handed with some of some of the stuff, but for the most part, I no, I don't think I do think it's overdue, and I don't know, I don't use the word woke the same way that other people would use it because it's really supposed to mean social justice, and
Right. I don't see. Yeah, I think that I think the right wingers, they're well, they're sort of thunderheads anyway. So I don't think they know how to define words most of the time. Um, so I agree with you. I think it's just because you see somebody represented does not mean that it's going to be affecting everybody's life. It just means that, hey, after all these years, guess what? Now we get to see a Native American on TV, or now we get to see African American on TV. And if you go back to the comic books, like I know I heard a lot of heat from Miss Marvel, but it's like, wow. So that means you're telling me you're sort of like a casual comic fan, because if you're a true comic book fan, then you know that people of different nationalities have always been in comic books. Um, maybe not carrying their own book per se, but they have played important parts, and I think it's important to people know that it's like this isn't just new. As far as seeing people on screen, a lot of times you go back and read books, or go and look at plays, or anything else. It's always been there. It's just now they're starting to get represented on the big screen. Overdue.
yes, yeah, no, I do agree, and I don't think in any, no matter what the nationality or religion or whatever is, don't make it seem like one group is better than the other and that group's better than that. We all want equality. So just do it like that. And how you're doing it. Now they're showing more people and more stuff. And yeah, like John just said, I feel if you're a film reviewer and use the word woke to actually portray your thoughts, maybe you should go your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Just not use the word due to its connotations. Yeah, I agree. I don't really use the word.
No, I think it's yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, there's one thing about, I guess there's one thing, and let me ask you this, as a film person yourself, have you, like we were talking about The Shining earlier, like you watched The Shining, and that's a great movie. I love that movie, and this and that, and all of a sudden then you go back and read the book, and all of a sudden it's like it's fundamentally changed. It's
Yeah,
fundamentally changed. The source material has been changed. I got to respond to that. I gotta sit there and say, yeah, it affects what I'm watching and how I watch it, and it's okay to share that, and I don't mind that. Someone says, because I
yeah,
felt the same way when I watched it. We're going to use the MCU here, kids. I felt that when I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy. I absolutely okay. I hate them. I hate them. I hate both those movies.
I know, and I love
Um,
this one.
but see, the reason I hate them though is not because of any. It's because they didn't observe the source material. The source material is awesome. Go back and do the first team. That's just my opinion because that's how I grew up. Uh, it's not going to change my mind as far as I just wish they go back because you don't have to twist and conform your story to fit when there's already a great story already out there. You're sitting there going, how do I cobble this? How do I put these characters from different timelines into the story that make it work? It's like, to me as a film goer, I'm going like, well, why do you have to do that? Why don't you just go back to the source material, bring that into play? I don't mind if you change the casting around. I mean, if you want to change the casting around a little bit, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I have trouble when they twist a story, not the cast. I mean, I don't mind that. Well, we're gonna change. We're gonna change. we're going to change instead of seeing Marvel, we're going to get Captain Marvel first. I understand that. I just don't want them to twist the story up. Don't blow the story up.
Yeah, yeah, I can see your point. I love Guardians of the Galaxy though, but yeah, I haven't read the comics, so I don't.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, hold on. I got to make sure this guy thinks he's Rick. We got to make sure he's really Rick. Got to throw out the password. Make sure it's Rick. I'm sure it is. I thought. Hey, Sean Blue Digi. Oh my gosh, yes, please subscribe to everybody. Connect with everybody, please. All right, yes. Man. Horror. Speaking of, let's go back to horror because now that our good friend Rick has come inside here, and we were talking about being scared and whatnot, and we'll come back to the other thing in a minute. What I just wanted to ask this since Rick is here, but what's the scariest movie you've ever seen in your since you've been watching movies? What's the one movie that scared the hell out of you?
So we talked about it earlier, but Lake Mungo. It's a mixed reaction, but yeah, Lake Mungo for me, it's so scary. And I do agree with someone said it earlier. Sinister is pretty scary, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say those two. I think.
You ever seen a movie called The Human Centipede?
I have not, but I'm going to watch it just because it's one people talk about so much, and I know about it. But yeah.
Have you seen Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah, I love Silence of the Lambs.
It'll change your world. You won't be able to watch Silence of the Lambs quite the same again.
Oh wow, I didn't know there's a connection. Yeah.
Yeah, you. I mean, because Hannibal Lecter is a badass. It's Dr. Lecter. Yeah, but when you see Dr. Leiter, you're gonna be going like, holy shit. Yeah. So yeah, that's as far as do you think Hollywood is catching up with representation, and why do you think people are having such a hard time with it?
So I do think they're catching up, pretty well. I like when it's like say someone's gay in a movie, they're just gay, so their plot line isn't about it can be, but they're just walking around and they have a boyfriend instead of a girlfriend,
Right.
Something like that, where it's not as obvious. Sometimes it can be if that's what the movie calls for. So I do think they're catching up with that, but I do think that they don't need it to be so. They don't need it to be their storyline. So, they're gay. That's their personality trait. That's all they are. So I do think that they should just start kind of going with the flow and just have a gay character in there out of nowhere. Have any character that's different, and
well, I like because I watch there's been movies like I watch This Is Known, and I'm sure I'll get some laughs out of this, but it's been known that I like watching Hallmark movies, because I can't do horror all the time. Yeah. And the thing about it is, though, it's like, they'll have the token gay friend, you always see that token gay friend, yeah. And after, it's just like for a while, it's just like almost like the token, the black best friend, or in the horror movie, it's always the first person killed is a black guy, it's whoever it is. So, but I think it's refreshing though now there actually are movies based on gay characters, and they're not it's no longer a specialty. Like there's a film company called Breaking Glass. They specialize in gay cinema. Whether it be produced with here or from outside, outside the country. Now you're starting to see mainstream media. Now they're starting to show it. Like they're showing not only a gay man or a gay woman with their partner, but now you're starting to see it when they're actually when they kiss. They kiss goodbye. It's no different from when Mike and Carol Brady kissed. Okay, honey, I'll see you here. She gives him his case and kisses him gives him a kiss, has him out the door. It's no different. It's how is it any different than that? Yet the reaction is just so freaking over the top.
It shouldn't be. Yeah, no, I agree, and I think people just don't like change, and some of it's religion, some of it's not, some of it's political, some of it's not. There's just people with different views, but yeah, no, I agree. It shouldn't be different. It should be the same thing.
Yeah, I don't really see that. I just see is this. I don't care what you do, how you do it, as far as that goes. It's their, and I do think it's important to see it on TV like that, because the more people see it, the more accepting this should take it. It's like it's just a movie. It's just portraying life. It's what it's supposed to be. I just feel like I just sometimes feel, you know, um, as far as the political agenda goes, I don't know. I don't really ever really see that on movies myself, like, except in a documentary, maybe. Just because, I don't see that. Has there been a movie out there lately that has been obviously made to say a political statement?
No, I'm bad at noticing it. So
Me too. I'm
um,
clueless. I'm clueless.
yeah, um, I Black Christmas 2019 though wasn't that great. I thought that was a little too much, and that focused more on that, the political agenda, which I don't like that term either. Um, more than it should have, and it wasn't that scary. Uh,
Um,
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, no, yeah, no, that's all I was gonna say. But I did want to say thank you, Sean Blue Digital, for connecting with me.
Oh, yes, yes. I don't know if Bones is still here or not. Sean, can you and Hobbs, if Hobbs is still here, can you guys drop some links down for some of the folks in the chat, please?
And yeah, as far as Lake Mungo goes, yeah, I definitely understand the people don't like it. It's I understand that. Like and
I've never even seen it. I
yeah,
have to, I have to. Now I'm very curious.
and
Uh,
yeah, no, he said so. Gizmo said Lake Mungo is a great release from Second Sight. It does. I have it. Yeah, it's a really good release. But yeah, no, I understand. Like Joe from Geeky Hijinks isn't a fan of Lake Mungo. John thought it was okay, but he was pretty scared during it. I
um,
can't remember if anyone else saw it. I don't think.
Rick says, "Oh my, Lake Mungo owes me 10 minutes of my life back." So he was only able to watch 10 minutes before he got too scared. So it's okay, Rick. It's okay. Not all movies are super scary.
It's just I don't know. It's just because it felt real, because it's a mockumentary, and it was low
Um,
budget, and it felt like it was a real story. That's why it scared me so much, I would say.
uh, who are some of the who? I mean, you mentioned some of the ad directors earlier that you find really captivating. I mean, and you mentioned some of the actors too. But let's go a little bit deeper into that. What are some of the classic actors and movies that you really grew up like? Who was your favorite actor or director growing up? Was there anyone that you looked for? When you went to buy a movie, when you went to look for a movie, was there anybody in particular you wanted to get, or you followed when you bought your movies?
Yeah, so I'm not as much of a this actor person, this favorite. I do have them, but I'm not as much like, I'm gonna watch every movie by them. I'm gonna watch any movie that they're in. I'm not as much, as that as a lot of people are. But Steven Spielberg's like my favorite director right now. I love Steven Spielberg. Jurassic Park's my favorite movie, I would say, at the moment. And so him, I would say I definitely looked at a lot of his stuff. I just love his stuff, like Childlike Wonder. You it's just just his filmmaking and everything is just so good. And but so yeah, definitely him. I'm really into Tom Holland right now. I know he plays Spider-Man. And it's because of Spider-Man pretty much. And I like Timothy Chalamet. I like a lot of his stuff.
Yeah,
Florence-
I've heard of him, but I haven't seen anything that he's done yet. I
yeah,
know he's a big name. I'm just trying to figure out. I probably do have some of his stuff. Like I don't know if I do or not. But some of the younger actors, yeah. I mean, I have Spielberg's filmography. I thoroughly enjoy watching him.
yeah.
Um, I
Um,
mean,
Florence Pugh. I love Florence Pugh. She's Midsummer, Black Widow, the sister in Black Widow. I love her. She's one of my favorites. Uh, Ti West, who did X. He's becoming one of my favorites. I really like him. It's too soon to say that he's my top whatever, but I really like his directing style. Mike Flanagan again, James Wan. They're all really good.
What's your thoughts about the world of remakes? I mean, as both as a fan as a critic, I mean, when you watch those movies, like we're gonna remake this, or we're gonna reboot this, or we're gonna prequel that. What do you feel about that? Do you feel prequels, do they hold back a story, or if you had a choice to see a prequel to, like, let's say Game of Thrones, the Game of, or House of Dragons, would you rather see a prequel, or would you rather see a sequel to, like, a Game of Thrones? What's more important to you, like what was in the past, or are you more of a focus, story oriented more? Do you like the future stories more than you like the past stories?
Ooh, that's hard. Because I'm all for it all. I like it all. So I'm all for, if you want to remake anything, pretty much. If you want to reboot anything, requel, prequel, whatever you want to call it, sequel. So I'm all for it, but I would say that sequels are usually what I would probably prefer to look in the future for the most part. But yes, so I do love House of Dragon, though. And that's a prequel to Game of Thrones. So I do love prequels, but it's just, I find that more sequels probably would be better, just because Hannibal Rising, that's like the prequel to Hannibal, and that was not good.
No.
So like sometimes prequels, and plus one of the scary things about characters like that is you don't know what made them evil. So sometimes it hurts to know, or you don't care, you don't have to watch it. But,
I know Richard Thomas Harris, who wrote the Hannibal books. I know what he did. I don't know if you know the story or not, but he created the story, and after he wrote, he got writers get this too, not just actors, but writers get typecast too. And so here he is. He wrote Manhunter, and then he wrote Red Dragon, and then Silence of the Lambs. But every time that he would try to break away from that, break away from the story, he would try to write something else, and no one really accepted it. They always like, okay, well, we're gonna, we want to see the next Hannibal Lecter story, and he got furious. He's like, I'm a lot more than just this. And he tried to break out of it by having Clarice. He turned Clarice into a cannibal.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that part.
And when she's chasing him, he changes the Clarice into a cannibal by the end of the book. And it was his way of striking back. He's like, okay, if I make this character and this book so unpalatable, that'll be the end of it, and then he could move on to write something else that he wants to do. But people still, and they did react to that. They were like, that's not right, But it was just his way of protesting that he didn't want to be typecast.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting. I know Hannibal Rising he didn't want to do, so that was another thing. And maybe he made it bad on purpose. I haven't read it. I do have all the books though of that series. I want to read them. I have seen all the movies though.
Yeah, what though? It's like sometimes people talk about like we're talking about just a minute ago about prequels and sequels. Now you're having characters, new actors coming in and playing established characters.
Yeah.
Like who's gonna play? Like we have Marjorie Clark playing a Galadriel on the Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, yeah.
And do you know who Marjorie Clark is?
The name is ringing a bell, but I can't think of them.
She was the one at St. Maud.
Oh yes, she was really good.
I had to throw that in there. But she's playing Galadriel, and it's like, because obviously Kate Blanchett can't do it, but I like her. I like to see that go. I like to see how people handle different characters. Like how are they going to play this character versus some other character who brought it to fame? How does that work out for them? I mean, do they do well? I mean, there's going to be a lot of pressure, especially walking in and filling in the steps of an established character.
Yes.
An original character, you could chart your own path. But I mean, and watching it as a critic, I mean, it's got to be a little painful. Do you find this? Do you find when you see an actor and actress trying to fill in somebody's shoes that have already walked them? Do you ever feel sorry for those actors that have done that, or do you applaud them for daring to do it?
So both, I would say, because I do feel bad because it's like they're gonna get unnecessarily shamed, online. And but yeah, no, I do think it is brave to do, especially a big actor like this was actually good. Mads Mikkelsen played Hannibal in the Hannibal show, and I think he's probably just as good as Anthony Hopkins at playing him. Um, and the show was really good, so
Yeah,
he got out lucky.
yeah.
And
Mads Mikkelsen's a genius.
yes, um, so yeah, sometimes it works. Yeah, but it's hard because right from the beginning they're gonna get, even before just the announcement of them getting cast, they're already gonna get hate.
Um, so, I mean, as far as the movies go this year, I mean, how do you feel like you've changed yourself? I mean, how do you feel like, as becoming a reviewer and watching those various movies as you have, how do you feel do you feel it's changed you fundamentally who you are? Do you think movies can change people, their personalities, the way they look at things, color the world?
I do think that yes, I do think that they're powerful sometimes to change. You do to an extent. Like I don't know. I just love the idea of film, and I've been getting, like I said, more into award-winning movies, and since starting my channel, and this year especially, and I'm trying to get into more foreign films. I'm just trying to get it, broaden my horizons, and so that's really changed me. It's made me look at stuff differently, and sometimes they give you advice, so sometimes they can help you be motivated to do something. So yeah, I do think that they definitely have a power to change you.
Do you collect movies? Are you a digital or physical media
Oh,
collector?
physical media by far. Yeah,
Okay.
I love physical media.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, uh, and I just want it to keep going forever.
I hope so too. Do you look forward to the Black Friday? It's like Black Friday as far as or better yet, have you ever received anything from any company yet so far? You and the squad, you guys get stuff to review yet?
Um, yeah. So I have not. Sean has gotten. I don't think. I think he's just gotten like a swag bag from something, and I don't think he's gotten any movies or anything. I mean, he gets screeners, and he gets to go to
Mm,
screeners, and I've gotten screeners from Netflix sometimes.
okay.
And I Saint Maud, I actually got a screener for. So
Nice, nice.
yeah. Um, so stuff like that, but yeah, no, none of us have really gotten much yet.
Yeah, I think that should happen. That should happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, are you a big convention guy? Do you like going to the horror conventions, or have you ever gotten dressed up to go, or been a part of a panel yet?
No, so I've gone to like my Comic Con here, uh, and it's been cool. I met a couple Stranger Things actors. I met Will and Barb, and so that was cool. Um, but I haven't really. I don't really dress up. I might wear like a themed shirt, like my Captain America shirt or Jurassic Park, whatever. Or if I knew I was going to meet a Stranger Things actor, because the first time I didn't actually know Will was Noah Schnapp was there, but I'm glad he was, and uh, so yeah, I've really only been to local ones, but I really want to go to like the big Comic Cons someday.
Yeah, I think it's coming to that point where when you guys do apply for, like, I mentioned this earlier to actually I mentioned this tonight. They went to a Monster Mania up in New Jersey, and I pinged them and I said, I think it's time that when next time there's an event that's near you and you want to go, you should submit for a press pass. I think
Yeah,
you guys, I think you guys are more than past what qualifies for press.
I,
And I think the same thing with the cinema squad. I mean, the collective as a whole, you guys have done so much, and you guys have you guys are pretty big. I mean, you have really good voices. You write well. Even when you do your videos, they're clear enough and concise enough that people will watch them. And
thank
it's not like it's like I sort of like, especially when you guys do your serious talks, like you'll discuss like the award winning movies or whatnot. You'll go over it. um I definitely feel you guys have come to that point where, like, I look at you guys more like now it's like I look at you like professional critics. Maybe not writing for a paper or anything like that, but I do think that your the way you write or the way you express your reviews, it's pretty damn professional.
thank you.
And yeah, I just was wondering, would you is that something you see yourself doing in the future? Would you like to be leading, doing a convention, leading a panel? If you could do a panel, if they asked you, listen, Dan, we want you to moderate a panel on anything that you want to talk about. What are three panel topics that you would discuss in front of a comic book convention,
Ooh,
and why?
so Marvel, really anything Marvel, but like Spider-Man, maybe specifically. Ah, uh, I would say I like Jurassic Park, but I mean, when there's not really a movie coming out, it's not like the hugest thing in the world. But still, Jurassic Park because I love Jurassic Park. But and I mean DC. I would do Star Wars. I would do horror. I would do so much. Definitely with the Cinema Squad though, because like I said, I'm shy, but I probably could do it. And it's easier for me to talk about things I love with a passion. It's so alone, But the Cinema Squad as a group, we want to get there. We want to interview famous people. We want to get to those, prize packs and screeners and everything. We want to do all that. We want to go big
Right.
eventually. And I think that as long as we stick to it, I think we will. I hope.
I think so. I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Jim says that, which I don't know why it didn't pop up in the chat, but I'm gonna read this anyway. But Jim mentioned he would actually watch Tom Holland running around naked eating boys. I guess if he did a Lord of the Flies remake, he probably could do something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Lord of the Flies meets Alive.
yeah.
Uh,
He'd actually be good. He would have actually younger, especially. He would have been good in a Lord of the Flies remake.
yeah.
Yeah,
I see. Jason's mentioning hosting a panel would be amazing. Yeah, I don't see why you guys couldn't do it.
yeah.
I,
No,
I, I don't.
Jace
Um,
alone would be so good at it. Jace is so good at like talking. He's just so good.
you guys all do well. I mean, how do you guys? Let me ask this, because I know every answer is going to be different. I'll probably ask this, from Sean and from Jace, but but how do you guys plan together your show? I mean, how does like a talk, walk us through a planning and executing a talking the shit? How does that work out? Who comes up with an idea?
Uh, so collectively, we all try to do at least something. Um, but we decide who's gonna host. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're a group, so sometimes you might not even notice there's a host, but there's a host usually. John does a fantastic job. I think that, I mean, we all have the ability to do a fantastic job, but just some people prefer to do it more than others. And we come up with a host. We come up with a guest. If we want a guest on, which usually we do. And
How do you choose your guests? Put names in the hat.
um, no, it's just we just go down our list pretty much of our subscribers, and choose the people that we know would want to be on the show. Lisa she loves us. So, for Tina, I know we had on last year. Eric loves us. Eric talks to us a lot, and we just kind of decide off that. And really, people we're interested in talking to, and we think would be interested in talking to us. And then we ask them, and we do like the whole thumbnail promo. We have them take a picture, send it to us. Antthony makes a lot of the graphics.
Anthony's really good at that.
Yes, Anthony's really good at that. and John makes some of the video intros, or helps with the video intros at least, and we come up with a question of the day now because that's our newest kind of thing. We kind of have a question of the day, a specific segment, and we come up with our skit idea. And whoever needs to do it, we send a script to them, or whoever's going to write the script writes the script, and then we send it to everyone that's going to be a part of it. But actually, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but we try to make it a surprise. So if you're not a part of the script, like if I'm not a part of the skit, I don't know what it is until I see it that night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we just come up with all of that stuff, and we're always trying to improve on our planning and get better. Because sometimes it's hard, sometimes we're human. Well, we're always human, but we procrastinate, um,
Oh, I am trying to imagine. Honestly, I couldn't. I'm a little surprised at that. I can't imagine anybody. Well, yes, I can. I know who procrastinates. I definitely know. I know who it is.
who
I'll
is
tell
it?
you. I'll tell you. Should I tell you now who I think now, or should I tell you off camera?
You could tell me now.
I think it's Joe.
Okay, that's a good guess. No, but no, when Joe brings his A game, Joe is amazing. Joe puts together a lot of the pictures that are in our intro, of us in Game of Thrones, Grand Theft Auto, poses. But no, Joe's great. He's been going through some stuff lately, but no, Joe's still great. He helps out. Yeah. We all do. We all try to put in something.
See, Rick throwing out the devil finds. That's right. Rock and roll. That's right. Yeah. So, you guys have such a fun show. Now, you guys do your show in seasons. Is that something you guys all agreed upon? Like you'll do what, 10 to 12 shows per season, and then take a little break, and then come back and do it again.
Yes. So yeah. So I think last one was 9. First season was 9 or 8. This season we're not sure exactly how much episodes we're gonna do yet, but yeah, we're gonna do it in season, and we're not gonna take as long of a break between these seasons. Like we took several months more than we were planning.
That's right. Well, I'm sitting over there watching, and I'm like, I wonder if the Cheetah and I will ever get a call for that, but we already know that we won't, because we're bringing the ISC Goodnight goodness. No,
No,
just kidding. No, I like the guests you have on. I think it's very thoughtful, and they have a lot to say. And I love Lisa Loves too. She's very sweet.
yeah.
And, so yeah. What's coming up on your channel? Go ahead and plug something. Go ahead and plug something on your channel before we wrap this up.
Yeah.
Tell us what's going on.
So like I said earlier, I just did the Invitation review. I'm probably higher on it than most. It's not a good movie, but I had some fun with it in the beginning. And that's what I just did. And I'm hoping to finally, since June, I've been working on my Jurassic World Dominion review. I haven't been working on it though the whole time. Like I stopped, as I've been gone for months off of YouTube, other than the Cinema Squad. And
yeah, you needed a break, didn't you?
Yeah. But I'm
I
happy.
think that's good I took a break in August. I think it's good.
Yeah, it is. So hopefully the Jurassic World Dominion review will actually be out. I think people are gonna enjoy that because I'm infamous for people know that I didn't like it that much. But yeah, so look out for that soon. That's all that's coming up. I have a few other ideas, but yeah, in Schofield Studios, yeah, Jurassic World shit minion, he said. But also they use yeah. But also Schofield earlier said that I have really good editing, and he likes what I say. So thank you so much for saying that. I'm happy that people notice my editing because I do put a lot of work into it and making my videos look really good. But yeah, no, that's all I have planned for now. I want to get back into doing it more often, but maybe not as often as I was.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming in and hanging out with us, Dan. Taking on over tonight. I really enjoyed this discussion. I've been looking forward to this since for longer than I did before I asked you.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do this. In fact, this is we initially wanted to do it, and then something came up with your schedule and we couldn't do it. We had to push it back. So I was super glad we were able to do this tonight.
Me too.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I think the Cinema Squad is an outstanding collective. I enjoy watching you very much, and hopefully we'll see you sometime soon in the future. When's the next Cinema Squad Talking the Shit episode? Is that coming up this Friday?
Uh,
And who are you talking with?
so we haven't decided yet. We're still going through some planning, things, maybe some changes that we want to do. So yeah, we have not decided when the next shooting the shit's going to be, but we will be back soon.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put all your socials down in the description box down below, and so people can follow you. And then thank you for coming out. Thanks for you guys for hanging out as well. We'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and we'll be talking to Sean.
Yes, Sean.
Sean and I. That will be, and then Thursday I get Jace on here.
Jace, I know.
Awesome. Yeah. Terrence shut up.
I had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I'm really glad you came out. I'm really glad you had a lot of fun. If you ever needed to talk or anything like that, you can always get a hold of me. I'm there. And thank you guys in the chat. You guys rocked it out. And we will see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m.
Yes.
And stay right where you're at. And everybody else, good night and peace.